to me. Your thoughts?
I'm not happy.
Okay, tell me why.
5 years, $54 million. Deion Sanders deserves more. I'm happy for him. It seems like a really good contract. I applauded it last week. But upon further thinking, reminding of myself of how irrelevant Colorado was until he brought them national attention, national prominence. Man, Shannon, CC, I think the brother's worth at least $25 million more myself. But I'm happy for him. He's happy. So I'm happy for him. But let me be very clear to America. Primetime Deion Sanders, specifically at the University of Colorado, with what he has done for that program, that brother is underpaid.
Yeah, that might have been the quickest decision for the Board of Regents in Colorado to come to, because that deal does not reflect the true value of Coach Prime. No doubt about it.
You see what happens, Canty? When you get these deals that's worth north of $100 million, you get to say somebody else is being underpaid. I wouldn't know anything about that. Hey,
who you talking
Bob
about?
Iger with this front marketing paid me.
I don't know what you're talking about, Shay. I don't know what you're talking about. I have no idea what you're talking about. What are you talking about?
All right. I'm going to carry on. Okay. The Baltimore Ravens reached a 3-year contract extension with Coach John Harbaugh. Harbaugh is the Ravens' all-time winningest head coach with a 185-115 record over 17 seasons and is the second longest tenured NFL coach behind the Steelers' Mike Tomlin. Harbaugh guided the Ravens to a win in Super Bowl 47 against his brother Jim and the Niners. His 12 playoff berths are the second most in the league behind Andy Reid since he arrived in Baltimore. Chris Canty, what do you make of Harbaugh now?
Listen, I love Harbs. I think he's one of the best coaches in the sport. And him and Mike Tomlin are inextricably linked, not just because they're the two longest tenured coaches in the NFL, not because they're just in the same division, but also just because of the standard that the organizations have in terms of where they expect their teams to be. But I can't keep calling John Harbaugh one of the best coaches in all of football when his team routinely underachieves in the biggest moments that the sport has to offer. Over the last decade, John Harbaugh and Mike Tomlin had the same amount of playoff wins. 3. That's where they're at. And the Pittsburgh Steelers, when it comes to their struggles in the postseason, it's evident their quarterback position is atrocious. But when we look at the Baltimore Ravens, you got a 2-time MVP winner in Lamar Jackson. Why can't John Harbaugh get this team to the championship rounds more consistently? Why can't John Harbaugh get this team with Lamar Jackson to a Super Bowl? It's a question that everybody is going to continue to ask, and the volume on that conversation only gets turned up now that there's more money attached to it.
It depends on how you look at it, guys. Shannon, I'm going to be quick with this. It depends on how you look at this, guys.
Go ahead.
In the case of Mike Tomlin, right, we've lamented the fact that he hasn't won a playoff game since 2016. We know it's primarily because of his quarterback situation, but the standard is the standard. And so we are certainly not stupid enough to advocate his dismissal because we know he's a great coach. But in the same breath, the results are the results, and they have to be better. In the case of John Harbaugh, what this really all comes down to is the fact that you've had Lamar Jackson for the last several years, and you still don't even have a Super Bowl appearance to show for it. But at least in his case, there was an AFC Championship game appearance. And when you look at your tight end, Mark Andrews dropping the pass in the end zone that would have tied it and sent the game into overtime, you could ask those questions as well. But I'm with you. John Harbaugh, if you're going to say what we say about Mike Tomlin, we got to say it about him too.
Okay.
I agree with everything. I just have to co-sign everything you guys said. Canty, you're absolutely right. At some point in time, for the last 6 or 7 years, you've had one of the 3 best quarterbacks in football. He's a 2-time MVP, and you had a great offense this year. At some point in time, it's just not good enough to they drafted Lamar Jackson, fine and good, and Lamar has turned out to be better than what anybody could have previously hoped other than himself because he told you what he was going to give you. The only thing that he hasn't been able to do is cash in. He said the Baltimore Ravens were going to get a Super Bowl out of him. That's on John Harbaugh's watch. At some point in time, it's not good enough to just be considered, they won 10 games, they won 12 games. Play like a Raven means you play like a Raven all the time. And far too many times when it's come down to the big games, they have not, mainly their quarterback. He's going to have to be Lamar Jackson, the guy that's the MVP when it matters the most. That's on John Harbaugh.
All right. We'll leave it there. We'll be back after this very quick break. More First Take in a moment.
Oh, my keeper.
Reflecting on the Niners season on the Built for More podcast. This was a couple days ago. Listen up, guys.
Last year, man, guys were tired. Like, that season, dude, is no joke. And when you go from July training and everything all the way to the end of February, and then you really get 5 weeks off or so, and you got to report back, and then you're going again. Yep. It's like, dude, guys are tired. They're still beat up. Their bodies, for these guys that are getting older, like, it's not easy.
Sharpe, Sharpe or not Sharpe?
Not Sharpe. And you want me to pay this man $50+ million a year, Canty? I wish I might. So I guess the Chiefs are just exhausted. I don't even know how the Chiefs could even summons up the plate, because they've gone to the Super Bowl. They've been deep the last 7 years. They've gone to 6 Super Bowls. How can they even function? Just because you think something, that doesn't mean you have to say it. I'm not in the business of excuse making. Bro, just keep that to yourself. Hey, we need to be better. We have some injuries. I need to play better. Guys need to play better. But when you start to fatigue and tired, bro, nobody trying to hear them excuses, and you want me to pay you $300 million a year. I wish I might.
I agree with Shannon again, 2 for 2, not Sharpe at all. Here's what, to piggyback off of what Shannon said, it's really, really this simple. If you listen in Brock Purdy, were you guys as San Francisco 49ers, members of the National Football League, subjected to anything different than the other 31 teams are subjected to? If that answer is no, then what the hell are you talking about? It makes absolutely no sense for you to articulate that publicly, because what you're doing is using that as an excuse, and you're not recognizing that he's really inviting more scrutiny, because now it's, why were you tired? What the hell were y'all doing that had y'all so tired, that y'all were so ineffective compared to the other teams who made the playoffs and competed and looked a hell of a lot better than y'all spent the year looking? Now you've invited those questions simply because of that statement.
Yeah, it's not Sharpe. And the point of the exercise is to have sustained success, to routinely compete for championships. Well, Brock Purdy, the NFL schedule ain't changing. As a matter of fact, if anything happens in the foreseeable future, you're going to get more regular season games.
Yes.
So you're going to be playing in more football games.
Trying to add 18.
Exactly. And for a guy that I'm going to guarantee over $200 million to, I'm going to need for him to set the tone a little bit better for my franchise than what Brock Purdy did on that podcast.
And Shannon, like you said, he wish he might. I mean, damn, you're looking for your money and you going to say that.
I got one more. This morning, Steelers coach Mike Tomlin was asked how he'd feel if Mason Rudolph was his starter week 1.
Thế thôi. Xin chào tất cả mọi người đã quay trở lại với kênh của mình. Ngày hôm nay mình sẽ tiếp tục hướng dẫn các bạn câu tượng nha. Câu hôm nay của mình sẽ có tiêu đề là ốc nhồi. Các bạn, hôm nay tượng của mình sẽ có tiêu đề là ốc hương. Bây giờ mình bắt đầu tô nha. Màu xanh đầu tiên nhá.